Hi, I'm Jack Lowe from Skin Kitchen Tattoo. Have you been thinking about getting one of those tattoos? Maybe a black and gray tattoo, but you can't quite decide? Is there good things about black and gray? Is there bad things? You're about to find out. Stick around. I'm Jack Lowe from Skin Kitchen Tattoo in Des Moines, Iowa. I've been tattooing since '93, and I am the owner and operator here at Skin Kitchen. Hello, tattoo people. This is a new, series, we hope, about some pros and cons of different types of tattoos, placement of tattoos, and all those other kind of things. So we thought it might be interesting to point out some things about particular types of tattoos that might not be on the mind of someone when they're looking to get said type of tattoo, and this might help you make a better decision when you finally pull the trigger on your new tattoo. So for the first one, I'm gonna cover black and gray tattoos. It's really kind of a broad spectrum. There's even all kinds of different types of black and gray, but we're just going to be looking at black and gray kind of from a very global view, I guess. So anyway, I'll go over the positive things about the black and gray first. The first thing is black and gray heals up typically a little quicker. Now that doesn't mean that you can't overwork black and gray and end up with, some heavy scabbing and prolonged healing. But I'm talking overall, generally, black and gray tattoo doesn't have as much saturation in it. So you're not damaging the skin quite as much. You're not packing in every tiny square inch with pigment to make your values. You're letting skin show through the pigment to create your different values. So you're not causing as much damage to the skin. So your skin tends to regenerate and heal up a bit quicker because of that. So one thing that's in the awesome column for black and gray. Second thing is it typically, depending on placement, and again, the type of the black and gray tattoo, you don't have to sweat quite so much the sun. There are color tattoos out there that heavily rely on these really, bold colors that really make the design kind of what it is. And if you get those in certain areas where you get more sun, that's going to deplete, and then the overall tattoo is just going to kind of lose its appeal. Where a black and gray tattoo, it will fade, but it doesn't fade as dramatically as quickly. And when it does fade, everything kind of fades at the same time. You don't have a certain color fading out quicker than another, or something. It not looking uneven and things kind of falling out. A black and gray tattoo, in my opinion, it almost it just kind of ages a little more gracefully. You can still touch them up, crisp them up, and everything else, but that's a big advantage to some people. Quicker to get. And that kind of goes back to the first thing. You're not pounding in all these values, rinsing your machine out between each value, and so it kind of just speeds things up. A lot of times you're just jumping between a few different maybe premixes, or you may have a cup of distilled water that you're using to make your wash to dilute your black so you can get the values. But it's still just kind of a overall usually quicker process. I mean, you can go into these super hyper realistic things where you're just literally drawing in every hair. But even if you were to do that in color, it's going to take a little longer, usually. So if you don't like to sit in the chair for a long time, but you want to get as much coverage as you can, sometimes black and gray could be the way to go. All right, and let's see. Oh, another good thing about black and gray is you can always, not always, usually color a black and gray tattoo later, but you can't make a color tattoo black and gray later. So if you're somewhat on the fence, or you're not sure about color, blah blah blah, well, get it black and gray. Down the road, you can add color. It's never going to be the exact same as it would have been if you would have done color from the get-go, but you can definitely add color to a black and gray tattoo, and it's not the other way around. So if you're kind of on the fence, or you think down the road that you might want to get color, then you've got that possibility if you start off the black and gray. And the fifth and final plus is you don't have to worry about it clashing with any of your attire. I know that sounds crazy to most of you, but there are some clients that come in and that is a concern to them. Where they get it, what they wear, they don't want to clash, so they want to get these specific colors, or they don't want to get this color because they never wear this other color. Yeah, it can be a little crazy. So black and gray, Don't have to worry about it. Black and gray goes with everything. Ask Johnny Cash. Anyways, okay, so now the negatives. The 5 negatives, we'll start with the flip side of them standing up to sun. Now, things like portraits that have very, very fine details, very photorealistic black and gray things, can lose their dynamic range because they rely on these very light shadows and shades and somewhat subtle shadows and shades to really make the tattoo pop. So again, if you get it in a really sun-drenched area, you might lose those. So I would say that's more of the type of tattoo and the placement choice, but hey, I'm drawing at straws here. Black and gray is awesome, and I'm trying to find negatives. So anyway, the second one, what is it? Kind of going back to the portrait thing, just really any tattoo takes skill to do and everything else, but you're only working with one real color. You're only working in values, so it makes it a lot harder to make a really incredible looking tattoo using just one color. So it's easy to find someone who can do it in black and gray or do it without color, but not necessarily be a black and gray artist. They can do it with using just black, or they can do it with color, but the black and gray kind of realm was lost on them, where there's a different way of looking at it to help things still keep popping and pushing things back. It's not just putting the darks where the dark go and leaving light where there is no dark. So it can be, if you really want to get a black and gray tattoo for the sake of it being black and gray, it can be kind of difficult to find someone who's really fine-tuned into that world that can really nail one. So that can be a tough thing to do. And let's see what else. Generally, if you can use really bright colors to block out things, from across the room, it's gonna still have that wow factor. Like if you see, in my opinion, you see someone across the room and they have this big, crazy, colorful sleeve, it grabs your eye and is gonna pop out way more than someone if they have, black and gray sleeve that might be more photorealistic and everything else. So if that's your thing, you want a tattoo that nobody can deny and that just burns their eyeballs out, black and gray is probably not gonna be for you. If you wanna stand out in every forum you're in, black and gray tends to be a little more subtle, a little more classic, a little more, I don't know. It can be done many ways, but I'm talking in general. So, all right, let's see. Fourth drawback is uneducated people that may be from a era gone by probably going to think you've been to prison. If all you have is black and gray tattoos, chances are someone's going to look at you and think, oh, you don't have any color, you've been to jail, you've been to prison, you're a bad guy. That's, slowly falling off as time goes on and tattoos are becoming more of a part of our mainstream culture, but there's still that out there. I don't give a rat's ass what anybody really thinks. If they're just looking at me and having an opinion, I do that to everybody I see every single day, and I don't hate myself, so I'm not hating them for having their silly opinion, just like me. But if you do care about other people's silly opinions that have no idea who you are, and you don't want them to think you've been to prison, throw some color in your tattoo, and then all of a sudden you go to church and you're an upstanding person in society. So something to think about. Fifth thing, downside of black and gray is, again, uneducated people or people who don't really know going, when are you going to color that? When are you going to get that finished? Are you going to color that? Why isn't it done? That sometimes can come back to the person who did it and not doing a finished job on a black and gray tattoo, and that goes back to someone being able to do a tattoo with no color and being able to do a black and gray tattoo. A lot of times if you're getting that, well, when's it going to be done or is it finished? It's usually because it needs a little bit more from the black and gray side to really make it look finished and be obvious that, oh no, that's definitely done, not just looking like it's missing something. So anyway, 5 up, 5 down. Black and gray is awesome. I have a lot of it on me as well as color. I love it for a lot of the reasons I gave you, and it's a really, you can do a lot of incredible things with it. So I hope this kind of helped you. And if you have any other questions or you think of something that you've discovered by wearing black and gray that is a downside or an upside that maybe I didn't touch, feel free to leave a comment, send a message, whatever you want, and let us know. Because that's basically the reason for these things, starting a conversation and throwing the information around and see what we can learn. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and check out our skinkitchen.com, our website for merch and all that bull crap, and we will see you on the next one. And oh, and remember to click the thumbs uppy thing and to click the bell thing, subscribe, and spread this around. If you know somebody who's thinking about getting a tattoo, might be black and gray or whatever, send them a link to it, and it might help them out. Make a good choice. And then when they make a good choice, it'll be partially because of you, because you helped. And then you'll be a hero. Who doesn't want to be a hero? All right, guys, have a good one, and we'll catch you next time around.